Alright, well, I hope this recording has better audio than the last one. Um, I hope I'm able to keep the clip in there, but I was trying to make everything work. Um, I'm just one of those people that are allergic to steps, and there's a lot of steps to go through to get I mean, it was easy to start recording, but, you know, there's always something that's going wrong. And then, another setting and another thing you gotta download or do or figure out, you know? I guess that's a part of life, but it gets very draining living the same life. And same life as in there's no branch out. This is the first time I've ever done something like this. And, I've always had those ideas in the past of wanting to create something. And now that we're here, you know, it's not too bad. I don't know if the gameplay that you're going to be watching is going to be any entertaining because I'm doing this at the same time. Um, I'm just trying to just make something. Right now I'm working on like a little path. Um, but yeah, I don't know if this is going to look any good because I have no idea. Um, make sure this isn't too loud. I think this is going to look good. Hopefully. I wanted to make this video. I see a lot of videos just like the one I'm trying to make where it's just kind of being fed up with the world that we live in. This is a new channel. I've never done something like this, like I said. I always wanted to give my take on the things that I view, or how I view things. We're typically surrounded by the people who think work is everything, specifically a job type of work, like your typical 9 to 5. And it almost repulses me that people kind of adapted that mindset. Um, Not in any lazy way, but cannot see myself working until like what's the age of retirement, like 65 now. I cannot see myself doing that for a living. I understand hard work is what, pays off. That's how you get established in life and, become successful and, live the type of life you want to live. But the way people have it set up in their mind, and not everybody, it's not everybody. Some people, they got out of the robot mindset, as I call it. It's kind of a new thing that I've been calling it because the way these people want to live are like robots. They want to, be in school their whole life, get a job that isn't really going to take them super far, just be at the average level of life. And, I see videos where it's like, I'd rather not live if I work like a 9 to 5. And, I kind of resonate with that. Even though, it's kind of just dark to say, I would not be satisfied to live like anybody that I know or anybody that you see. I know everybody has worked like a job where they see these old people that, dedicated to, like unfulfilling work. And I say that in a way where it's like they work a job that's not really going to get them far. They're so dedicated to a company that doesn't really care about them at all. You know, stuff like that. And I've worked with people who are really dedicated to a nothing job. And it's really like kind of just stupid to me. They live and die by the company. And it's like, you don't really have a life. It's kind of depressing to see. And I know everybody has seen those people at their job where it's like, I would hate to become you. And I've seen that from mostly everybody. I would hate to be these people. Um, and even now, I kind of hate to be myself. Um, and I only say that really just because, I'm not really where I want to be. I would like a lot for myself, but it does take time, and trying to bridge the gap of being positive but also being realistic. Because, nothing happens without action. Nothing happens just by itself. It's about doing something. And that's kind of why I just made this channel. Um, you know, there's a lot of videos out there that have kind of been on the same wavelength that I'm on right now. I specifically seen some videos today that were talking about, just, make that channel, just make something. And, I never was really holding myself back in this regard, but, it is a lot of steps to, really get up here and kind of talk. But, I'm finally doing that. And, it's, I don't want to talk myself down the whole time. And say that, I don't hope things go well with this, but, like, even if I can just hear some different perspectives of other people living this same type of life, I feel like my mindset is kind of rare in just the way that people think life is their job. People just want to, work that 9 to 5, come home, and be with their family. And it's like, I'm at a young age. I'm 21. And other people before me don't have the same opportunities that I have, in the sense that they already kind of locked in into their life. People with kids, people with, like later down in the line, they can't take as many opportunities as someone like I can. And I'm grateful for that, and I really don't want to waste it. My whole life I've been told that I have a lot of potential. I just don't make anything of myself, or I don't use, my potential to what it can be. And I've definitely realized that, teachers told me that back then growing up. And, I definitely see it. I haven't taken any risks. I've kind of just been living a numb life until now. I'm really in that stage of trying to change up my perspective on things. I've been taking in a lot of content that basically says that it's all about the mental. It's all about how you think and how you treat life. And I definitely do struggle with, mental health. Not in any crazy way. I'm not gonna sit here and try to self-diagnose myself. But I tend not to be happy, and that's a lot of people. Feel like a lot of people feel that way about the life that they live. I don't even know if what I'm saying is really, making any sense. But, it's really hard to find a path that, you'll be satisfied with. It's a battle every day to just not become a statistic. Fall into the category of somebody who's depressed or, just not gonna make anything of their life. Also, I'm sorry for this gameplay. Like, I've made it far in this hardcore world, and I'm so bad at like building. Like mostly on this world, I just be going mining and stuff. But I'm just trying to create something here. I don't know. Overanalyzing how to get out of a normal lifestyle is very, very complicated. You have some people that are guaranteed a good spot in life, and then you have others that have to make it. To each their own, like the people who are guaranteed a good spot, some of them work for it, some of them don't. I get in this cycle of kind of just distracting my life. I'll sit here and play video games or mindlessly scroll on my phone or, just talk to people all day, you know, play a different game or something like that. And yeah, living that lifestyle does kind of suck. Over and over, it's just the same process of you waking up and beating yourself up that you haven't moved from your spot, but you haven't done anything to move from your spot. This is kind of a message outward, but it's also a message to myself. I've noticed in my past, talking about things with people, I'll kind of say things just to make myself sound better, of like, like future things I'd like to do or how I want to live my life, but then never act on it. And it does kind of have to do with the fact that you're getting like a dopamine hit off talking about it. And I've kind of learned that really early on. So it kind of messed with my head about if I should be talking about things or not. That's also a battle here and there. Sometimes I kind of hold my breath because I don't want to put something in the air that's, not going to come to fruition. And then at the end of the day, you kind of just look dumb because you never did anything, you never made something of yourself. You know, I've been feeling the same way for a while. And I'd love to change my situation, but, you know, it all kind of starts with you. Very grateful for my position and what I have, but I know I'm worth more than how I live every day. I know that there's something out there for me, and I'm very hopeful in that sense. But to really pick yourself up one day and really move towards that is kind of hard. Doing a lot of mental work definitely helps. I don't know if I'm just kind of going on a tangent or if I'm making any sense here. I don't even know if this will go up. But kind of made this to also see what other people view on what I'm saying is, but also maybe to, I would say, inspire. It's also kind of a negative conversation. People say life is what you make it, but then you just sit there and just wonder, how can you make it something that you're happy with? And I'm definitely not the most negative person. I have great moments with people that I'm surrounded by. But then there's those moments where you sit back and you just wonder, like, what are you really doing with your life, and can you make it farther acting like this every day? I think those are the most important questions to ask. I'm definitely just saying things now because I don't even say that to myself, even though I probably should. I definitely don't want to make those type of videos where it's just like negativity on top of negativity. But you know, I hope everybody who watches this, or me myself, can make it out of, you know, the state of discontent